So welcome, I'm Shelly and this is Tuesday, May 5th, Roll With It. As I'm welcoming you into the class, feel free to get yourself set up. You don't need double mats, but all you need is a space to either sit, stand, and relax in. With that said, we will be incorporating some type of ball, whether you've got the yoga tune-up balls or a lacrosse ball, softball, tennis ball, anything is fair game. And then if you have a stick, a dowel, the tiger tail, or even a rolling pin, we're gonna be doing some self-massage. And then lastly, some type of strap, yoga strap, jump rope tie to assist with our stretching. And then as always, any type of cushion or bolster. If we're seated for a period of time that doesn't resonate with you and you want to prop yourself up on blankets, but the idea is this is going to be a class where we offer ease into our body through lengthening out the tissues. We'll be focusing on some muscles as well as connective tissue and fascia. Now's a great time to put on your playlist. I have a lot of people asking me what I listen to, and I try to change things up. Right now I'm listening to Jack Johnson's PlayStation. It's super chill. And I also want to share some words of wisdom, which I love to share with you. Alice Roosevelt Longworth, she's an American writer and socialite, stated today, Tuesday, May 5th, I have a simple philosophy. Fill what's empty, empty what's full, and scratch where it itches. So think about that. Fill what's empty, empty what's full, and scratch where it itches. So take what you can from this class and nourish yourself, right? Doing some active recovery. Anything that you have too much of, frustration, stress, let it go, right, during this class. And then if something feels good, stay there and really honor yourself. All right. So the format for today's class is we're going to do a duo therapy movement for each muscle or connective tissue. So what you have an opportunity to do is both of either the stretches or massage, or you can stay with either one and do double duty of that. We'll do two techniques per body part or muscle group or connective tissue. So let's get started. Standing, ball. And we're just going to start with a nice opening footwork. You're going to place the ball underneath one foot, it doesn't matter, and just begin your massage. And just rolling, maybe scrubbing the bottom of the foot, however you envision this. But let the foot kind of take the shape of the ball. This is a great time to find your posture. And just breathe. So this is also known as a Hurt So Good class, right? There's going to be some time where we maybe elicit some discomfort as we move through scar tissue, tightness, restrictions, whether they're emotional or physical. You're going to take it easy. We don't train pain here, but you may find that you come up against a little block or some discomfort. I invite you to relax and exhale. Yeah. When you're ready, switching sides, new foot on top of the ball. If this in itself is a challenge, you need to grab onto something for balance, do that. And then allow your foot to begin to just receive all the benefits of this little self-massage. So I start every morning when I get out of bed, just this exact same movement. It kind of just resets literally my brain, right? I connect with my foundation. What it also does is it helps to release my entire body just by softening and loosening up the bottom of the foot. We're here for a couple more movements. So whether you're here for one of the 3 Ps to reduce pain, improve and enhance your posture, or to focus on improving your performance, whether it be an activity, career, or hobby, this class is for you. Beautiful. When you are ready, you're going to step off the ball. We'll place that off to the side. Our first movement is going to be the calf muscle. We're just going to start with this pretty basic stretch. Pick a leg, slide it back, lower the heel down. It doesn't have to touch. And then find a spot where you can just be and breathe just for a few breaths. The idea is to start to create length in the back of the shin. Hey, Charlie. Just a couple of breaths here. You can sink a little bit deeper to add a little more length. Beautiful. Keeping that heel super heavy, you're just gonna soften the back knee. And there's that second muscle back there, the soleus. So we're gonna let that sink and soften. Beautiful. This is also giving a nice little creasing to the front of the ankle, right? Kind of improving our dorsiflexion. Carefully slide out of this. And we'll try this on the other side. New foot, heel and leg back and down. Doesn't have to touch, but it's heavy and anchored. And then you're gonna find your position and just breathe. Nice. Keep pressing the heel down. You can sink a little bit deeper to add a little more intensity or sensation. And then from here, we'll keep that heel heavy and just soften the knee until you feel it. And voila, there's that second muscle. We're also getting a nice creasing of the front of the ankle to improve our ankle movement, foot mobility, to help reduce slip, trips, and falls. Good, just another breath or two. And slide that leg forward. So if that resonated with you, you're gonna do that again on both legs. If you're looking for the second variation, we come down, take a seat, and you're gonna grab your dowel, your rolling pin, or your tiger tail. I wanna get that calf muscle again. I'm gonna slide it under, doesn't matter which one. And you're gonna start to roll up and down the back of the calf, all the way down to the Achilles. You can let the heel rest, or some of you may wanna pick up the leg and allow the leg to move a little bit as well. But what I'm doing is I'm taking my rolling pin and just sliding it in all dimensions, right, at an angle, right up and down the runway, and at an angle. So if it feels better to get down by the Achilles and spend some time mowing that area out, do that. Or you can come up more into the muscle belly. We're here for about 10 more seconds. If you're holding your stretch, good for you. And we'll be switching sides with you in just a moment. Ooh, get some good flushing through that calf muscle and release. Okay, if you're stretching, switch legs. You don't have to move, I'm just showing because of instruction. New leg, you're gonna relax your leg, find the rolling pin, and sort of paint, right? It's almost like a roller painting the back of your shin. Second option, toes may lift. Third option, leg may come into movement and motion. So once you're doing your stretch or your therapy or roll with it, you just breathe. And then you figure out where you need to spend some time. Maybe it's down the base where that Achilles is. It's a great way to get those fibers to realign, or maybe up a little bit higher into the muscle belly. And I'm just letting my roll kind of turn side to side so I can get all aspects, maybe some areas that I don't stretch as often or connect with. Last breath or two. And release. Should feel really, really good. Taking our strap, we're gonna go up into our chest. We're gonna either be seated, so if you wanna grab your bolster, you'll do that now, or you can come into kneeling. Chest opening with a strap. Hands super wide. Start your breath. Pressing the arms long, so you're reaching out, and your knuckles are going to the sides of the room. Specifically where the ceiling meets the wall. So you're not going straight up, and you certainly aren't going straight out. So it's that kind of V for victory. Some of you may have the ability to make a full range of motion movement. So it may look something like this. You don't have to do this. That may or may not work for you. Some days, I think you guys know me, some days that works for me, other days it doesn't. It doesn't matter. But I want to broaden my chest, spread my collarbones. I'm going to find that spot and just flow. We're here for about 20 more seconds, and then I'll show you the second mobility movement for the chest wall, the axilla area. You may feel this in your bicep, and this is just a really good feel-good movement. And you can kind of fly your kite. Beautiful. Last movement. Coming back center and releasing the strap, and you'll just notice how good that feels around the shoulder, chest wall, and palms. If you want to repeat that, if that was your gig for today, go ahead. If not, take a seat. And once again, if sitting is not comfortable in your back, hip or knees, you are not alone. You can just prop yourself up, taking the ball into your right hand, coming across the midline of the body, and begin to massage the left pectoralis group, the chest wall. So right away, we sit up tall, and we embed that ball and create a circular movement. If you're looking to upgrade, add a little more. Left hand reaches out, fingers wide, and we pull them back, and then we just start to scrub and rub that ball, aiding in some recovery from all the push-ups you've been doing. Our muscles classes, right, with our weighted laundry detergent and all that resistive work to keep our muscles strong. Beautiful. And then we'll pause, we'll release the arm. Take a breath into that space and just notice how liberated it feels. And we'll go right to the other side. You don't have to wait for me. Come across the midline and begin to stir up the soft tissue in the chest. Shoulders roll back, starting to focus on posture. Lengthening out the arms, splaying the fingers and drawing it back slightly will add a little more sensation. So there's not one right way to recover, mobilize, stretch, right? If yoga's your gig, do it. If stretching is your thing, do it. If it's your myofascial release and foam rolling, whatever you are inclined to do is the right thing, right? We want to make sure our muscles are strong, but also have as much range of motion as able to, once again, reduce injury and just move with ease in our body. Final one, you can kind of soap up that whole area, release the arm, and float the ball down. Okay, next body part area is the glutes. All right, I'm going to start with a stretch and then move into a little roll. We're going to start seated. Hands may prop behind you initially. Pick a leg, it doesn't matter which one. And you're welcome to cross ankle, or if you've got the ability to cross over the thigh. Then right away, my toes wake up. I sprout up my torso, and that may be enough. If I'm looking for a little more intensity, I'm going to improve my posture and maybe bunny hop my hip or my heel toward one another and breathe. We're here for a good 30 seconds or so, making sure our muscles know that they can pause and relax. If static, stationary stretches for you and just your breath, stay. If you'd like a little bit of motion, striking through the hip in a little different access point in terms of where the muscles attach to bones, and you can rock. For those of you who just love stretching, don't forget tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. is our morning meditation and stretch. Just a feel-good class that hit that reset middle of the week. And then we'll get back at it with some pyo and some I think we have muscles still remaining in the rest of the week. A couple more fun classes. Beautiful. Once you're complete, create that space and mindfully move that leg off. I like to kind of just give it a little bounce, making sure that knee feels good. And we'll try that on the other side. Maybe less instruction, more thought from you, but build your pose. Find your sensation and breathe. If you find that you can't breathe, you're holding your breath or grimacing, you probably have gone too deep into your stretch. So ease out. Maybe you're gonna rock and cradle and just notice and breathe. So the idea is we're getting the gluteal flesh, that big, big muscle group that we sit on and use for power movements. Good, just a few more breaths here. And then slowly create some space, dismantle the posture, take care of the knees. Okay, if you love that and you didn't get enough, some of you may want to go into pigeon pose and yoga, you're on. If you're with me, we'll take that ball and we're gonna set it in the center of our glute, right? So not to have to be too descriptive there. We're gonna come down onto our backs. We're gonna lift our hips up and send it underneath your left butt cheek. Then set the hips down and lengthen out that left leg. Right knee will remain bent. And then we'll slowly let that right knee rock side to side, starting to create a little movement and self-massage over the ball. So the ball is going to embed into the gluteal flesh. And if you like where it is, fine. If not, take a moment to kind of shimmy and shift that ball. And then your exhalation is just going to relax the gluteal flesh down over the ball as you rock and breathe. So if you're stretching, you're still on that same hip. We'll switch sides together. So I really enjoy both the stretch and this. However, there's times if my knee or hip feels a little stiff, this is just a really good way to access without having to do much in terms of getting into a certain form or shape, but the same reveal. Good, let's just take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Soften those gluteal external rotators and that little pesky piriformis muscle that can come across the back of the hip. It can sometimes get really tight and trap the sciatic nerve. So this can help with reducing sciatica. And just this rocking or ruddering of the knee, really helpful. Beautiful, come back to center. Rebend the left foot, the knee, lift the hips up and remove that ball. If you're stretching, go to the other side. If you're with me, lift the hips up, ball underneath the right buttocks flesh, lengthen out that right leg, breathe. And then once you're in a state of relaxation, allow the left knee to rudder back and forth. The ball doesn't have to be moving, but if it's in a spot that doesn't quite work for you, make that little microscopic shift of the ball and then continue your massage. One side, your dominant leg side maybe is a little more sensitive, or if you've got a side that you're taking care of, recent acute injury or even a chronic injury, you may feel that one side's a little more welcoming than the other, and you're normal. It's all good. Nasal breathing, very therapeutic. calming for the central nervous system. We'll try this for about 3 to 5 more breaths. If you're stretching, awesome. If you're rolling, awesome. This is a dual class for you. Beautiful. Last breath or two. Just keep relaxing on top of the ball. Changing your perception. That ball is magical. So positive thinking and affirmations as you roll. Then when you're ready, slowly bend that knee, hoist the hips up, and you're welcome to roll to one side and help yourself up. Woo! Should feel good. Okay, we're now going to get into the forearm. So I want you to relax your arm. No, I lied. I want you to relax your hand. That's a better cue. I want you to relax your hand on top of something. So if you've got a book, maybe your bolster, whatever, you're just going to relax the hand over whatever you're on, the chair seat, your knee. You're going to take the ball, and just below the elbow, we're going to start to roll across the forearm. The ball is going to be sawing across the forearm muscles. And then once you've got that, you're going to start to create a little circular movement and let that ball roll down the shaft of the forearm and really start to embed into the extensors, right? The forearm muscles work overtime as we grip and carry. We're lifting weights. And even the natural carrying angle of the hand when we rest relaxes. I can put a little tug on the extensors. So we need to give a little massage. And as you're doing this, if you're not familiar with this or don't do it often, you may say, wow, I didn't realize my forearms carried that much tightness or tension or were that sore. This is also something that I would do daily if I played a racket sport often, a paddle sport often, had a kayak paddle, a golf club in my hand. You want to keep at bay and then the itises, right? The epicondylitis, whether it's tennis or golfer's elbow. Beautiful. Should feel really refreshed. Other side, sit comfortably. Let your forearm just rest on the thigh is fine, but the hand is going to relax. Get yourself comfortable and really commit to the hand being limp. And then the ball on the other side, below the elbow. And you're just going to start by sawing back and forth. And if you love that, stay. If not, begin to roll. And for those of you who've been doing this class with me off and on for the last 5 or 6 months, at Oldfield in the sports club, you'll notice the working arm, that shoulder gets some hydration, right? This little circular therapeutic move. And the hand gets a lovely massage. So lots of good things happening, right? Filling up what is empty, emptying what is full. You do this with a simple massage and roll with a class, right? Nourishing what you need, filling up, taking in whatever this class can do for you today. It also allows you to let go of thoughts, frustration, tightness, restrictions. Yeah. Last breath or two, really rolling into the area that feels a little sensitive. So helpful. This may give you a little relief if you have some arthritis in the hand, finger joints. And pause. We'll take our toys, place them off to the side. Remember, you can do double duty. You can go right back to that self-massage or come in with a stretch. I'm going to show you 2 stretches. You can stay where you are. I'm just going to be on my shins to show you. The first one is going to be a little more welcoming, and the second one's going to be a little more intense. So we'll take our arm, left hand, extend it out. We'll bend, from the wrist, or flex from the wrist, and we'll take our other hand and just gently apply a backward motion. Then I can relax my shoulder. And then from here, just bending and straightening my elbow adds a really good sensation. My palm is facing backwards. My fingernails are still forward if that's not obvious. And then see all these things that your body wants to do. Notice my shoulder, I'm gonna drop it and just get a nice easy motion. I'm gonna release that. Stay with that, or same hand. I'm gonna come down. Tucking my hand under palm is gonna come up, pressing the top of my hand down with very little weight, but pressing my fingernails into the mat. And I may kind of spin my elbow. I may bend my elbow, or I may just stay here and breathe for a few breaths. I'm gonna come up, slowly release, let the arm hang, a gentle shake, and that should feel really good. Okay, if you're still rolling, you're gonna go to your new side. If not, arm is gonna extend, hand is gonna relax and bend. I'm gonna place the other hand and gently add some pressure, some downward pressure with my palm working toward my forearm. And then from here, I'll lengthen that arm out. And notice what it feels like to maintain a stretch, but add a little flexion and extension of the elbow. Once again, decide maybe really sensitive or not quite so full of conversation for you, and that's okay. We're very asymmetrical. Beautiful. If this is where you want to train, you're gonna stay, give a little shake, or coming down onto all fours, tucking the palm under, fingernails down, very little weight. I have like maybe 10% of my body weight on this hand. I'm gonna really splay my fingers and press them into the mat and start to rock back and forth, or maybe just bend and extend my elbow. Just a couple of breaths. So if you've noticed, we're trying to do something with the lower body and then the upper body and then just shifting back and forth. When you're ready, come on up for air. Gently give it a shake. And forearms are happy. Moving to our quads. We're gonna come onto our belly. Initially, a stretch with a strap, and then we'll move into some ball work if you choose. So coming down onto your belly, I'll give you a little side vision. So this is called prone. You're on your belly. You're gonna lengthen those legs out. Stretch out the abs and just kind of nestle in here for a moment. The strap is gonna be our equalizer. If you feel like your arms are a bit short and they shrunk in the dryer this morning and they don't wanna touch your foot, you're gonna grab the strap and you're gonna lasso your left leg. So I'm gonna start by pumping. This may be all I wanna do to release the quad, or I'm gonna take my strap and hook it around my foot. If you don't need the strap and you can just grab the base of the ankle, you'll do that. Now from here, we all squeeze our knees together and push our hips, specifically the left hip, into the mat. Forehead can come down. I'm gonna keep mine elevated because I'm speaking. And just take a couple of luscious breaths into that quadricep. So guarantee that your knees are drawing toward one another, and then really push the hips into the mat. So you're not tugging that knee, and you're not pulling the foot. And then if you can, those left toes are gonna dance a little bit, and my fingers will show you my left toes are dancing. I'm gonna slowly release and try that on the other side. You've got your strap if you need it. First movement is just a bending and extending to flush the quad. This may be your bag of tricks. Stay with it. Lasso foot to hand with the strap, or secure your own bind. You draw the knees together, push the hips down, and breathe. Your forehead can come down. And all you do is just iron out the quad with your exhale. And then see if you can wiggle and move those toes for a little more fun. Keep squeezing the knees together. Keep pushing the hips into the earth. And then just maintain your breath. And we'll release. So if staying on your belly works for you, you're going to do that. Some of us may just need to kind of counter and come back into child's pose. Okay, the cool thing is, now you know what to do. You're going to repeat that if that is your favorite thing, or ooh la la, the ball. And the ball changes everything. So we're going to come back now. Left foot, right? We're going to be sending the ball underneath our left quad. So anywhere on that thigh muscle, princess in the piece. So see the ball? There it is. You can press your forehead down and breathe. Or take that heel and slowly draw the heel in and extend the toes out. This is called pinning and stretching. It's an actual therapeutic move. We're pinning the ball with our quad. This is quite full of sensation. And then you're stretching the quad by bringing the heel toward the bottom or the glute. The ball could be anywhere. You may think it's in a wrong spot. You can shift it. And just we're here for another breath. This is pretty intense, and I'm proud of you for doing this. Quad super happy, and we're getting to flush out the muscle without having to do anything awkward with the knee joint. Ha-ha, and done. Release, remove the ball. Phew, exhale. You can stay right where you are. I'm just gonna flip for teaching purposes. If you're going into your stretch, awesome. If you're using your ball, awesome. Send it under your new thigh. If you're with me, it's your right quadricep. Forehead can come down. Breathe. And then allow that heel to draw up toward your glutes. This is called pinning and stretching. And the ball really is embedding right up against your femur bone, and whatever's in the middle gets flushed and ironed out. We're just here for another breath or two, so do what you need to do. Final one, best one. Slowly release, remove the ball. And then most of us want to now counter and release that low back. That's just a great stretch for the spine. And you can come down into child's pose. Just kind of melt for a moment. I'm going to rise up and come take a seat. Moving to the outer part of the lats, not the lats, the IT band and the lateral aspect of the quads. We're going to return back to your rolling pin. Rolling pin. I'm just going to turn to the side. Once again, you can sit on your prop. I'm going to soften my leg, take my rolling pin right off to the side. It's almost like I'm doing an old style rowing of a boat movement. And I'm going to really try to lengthen by ironing out the outer part of my thigh. IT band. Notice I can stay up closer to my knee and just kind of play. I can flush. I can actually pull in one direction, like I'm really rowing a boat. I could maybe want to play up closer to my hip. Should feel good. Using your exhalation. And then pause. I'm going to go right to the same side with the ball. I'll show you, and then you can stay with the ball or return back to the rolling pin. Leg will lengthen. The ball, we're going to hold it almost like we're eating an apple. And, did you like that little sound effect? And I'm going to roll the ball. to the outer part of my leg. And I can put as much or as little pressure as I would like. Notice this knee is bent. It's a little bit easier for me to sit up. I'm kind of grabbing that knee. So if you love this, roll away. If you're not a big fan, go back to the rolling pin or your dowel. We're just here for a couple more. Strong, steady breath. And pause. Other side. Now you know where we're going. You don't have to wait for me, and you certainly don't have to follow. I'm just here for giving ideas. The rolling pin may look like you were actually stand-up paddleboarding, right? And then you apply that dowel up and down the racing stripe of the legs. You may find that it's more beneficial to kind of hang in one spot. You may want to iron and kind of brush the tissue. You may find it by the hip. And you may want to just move your rolling pin in a different way. Maybe how I showed you doesn't quite work. No worries. Rubbing pretty intensely. You get all the benefits. Beautiful. You're welcome to continue. Or remember our little trick with the ball. We're going to lengthen that leg out, pretend we're holding it like an apple, and then kind of digging it in, and then spread the fingers and roll. Supporting your posture. Abs are strong. And then notice there's probably a spot that's calling your name, so feel free to hang there. Good, just one or two more flushes. Love it. Hamstrings. Okay, we're gonna start with the roll and end with a stretch. So you've got an option. You can put two legs, both of your legs together, and put the foam, I lied, I said this last week too, I kept using the word foam, the rolling pin underneath your thighs and flush them out. If you feel like you really just want to kind of spend time on one leg, you're going to do that as well. Remember, we're up and down the back of the thigh with our rolling pin. Both or just one. And of course, if you're doing one leg, at some point you're going to switch. You may want to turn your grip, palms up, and really kind of pull. That leg can take air, and that may feel more accommodating. Once again, if you're doing one leg, make sure you're shifting and switching to the other leg. Yeah, the more you can relax and the deeper you can breathe, benefit comes to you. Good. And release. You can return to that, stay with it, or our lovely strap. Making our way down onto our backs, still staying with the thought of the hamstring. Some of you will send the strap up against the ball of the foot. You can extend the other leg, bend it. You're going to drive the heel up to the sky and you start to flush everything. The knee can bend. Some of you may be more inclined to drawing the fingers around the thigh or the calf muscle and floating the head up, whatever feels good to you. But I've got my ankle in motion. That just feels right to me. As I hold a little static stretch here, just for a few breaths. When you're ready, release. Other side. You can last see the foot. Send the leg up to the sky. Direct the heel a tad higher than you think, and the knee can soften, no worries. Right knee may have to bend for low back issues, or maybe you can straighten it out. The idea is to breathe. If that's your place, please stay. If not, fingers may interlace around the thigh or the calf muscle. You may float your upper body off. That may feel really cool. And your ankle may mobilize. So lots of chance for personal integration today. So as we continue to train virtually, the more clear, the more options I can give you, the better our experience, right? Yeah. Good, just another breath or two. And release. You can hug those knees in, giving yourself a little rock. You can start to rock front to back, rolling like a ball. We're going to be sitting ourselves up. If this doesn't work, please roll to one side, and we'll meet ourselves upright. Okay. So moving into, for time, let's see what else we can do. Yeah, let's do a little inner thigh. Okay, so let's take the soles of the feet together, almost like a Baddha Konasana in yoga, and your feet can drift away to make a bigger diamond, or you can certainly hike them up a little bit closer to your groins. And then you're just gonna do a little fluttering of the knees, getting the groin and inner thighs to soften. If the fluttering doesn't resonate, you can just relax and keep the knees quiet. If you're inclined to take those elbows and press them out, coaxing the knees out and then maybe down. So make sure that you are finding a spot and a place. One more huge breath in. And then rise all the way up. You can return back to that movement. And this may be our final dowel. Finding the inner thigh. This is a good one to help release the groin. So sometimes stretching the groin isn't what we want. We want to get the muscles, the adductor group to help soften if you've got some scarring. You're going to lay that leg off to the side and really roll out the dough, right? Almost like you've got dough on a kitchen counter. If you want to return back to that stretch, please do. And this may feel a bit different, right? This is an area that we don't expose a lot. So when we do, you might say, this feels different than the outer part or my quad. Yeah. Let that inner thigh see a little sunlight and then give it a little rub. And then we'll pause and switch legs. Once again, you can go back to your stretch or find your dowel and rolling pin and liberate the inner aspect of that thigh. Beautiful, just a couple of more, breathing and feeling. And release. Okay, we're gonna finish with some upper extremity stuff. So we're gonna be seated. So once again, getting yourself comfortable, sitting however you wish. Arms lengthen out in front, palms face. Find your right arm, and it's gonna cross over your left. Splay the fingers, turn the thumbs down, palms connect and hold your own hand, interlace the fingers, and you can just stay here or start to let those hands dance. And you're gonna feel this where you need to feel it, right? Maybe your thumbs and fingers are getting this lovely twist, maybe elbows and shoulders. One more here, and of course we'll switch sides as you release. Shake it out. Lengthen it out. Left arm crosses, fingers splay, palms turn, and we interlace. And you can just kind of squeeze the fingers or start to dance. Just wringing out the upper extremities. Going with the flow as we just roll with it, right? We'll play on words. One more huge breath in both directions. Maybe you can explore the depth of your movement. And then we'll release. Shake it on out, just flush, let those arms hang. We've got a static stretch to bring this session to a close. So I'm gonna turn my back and you're gonna have all kinds of options. Start by rolling those shoulders back. Arms come back behind you. Maybe grabbing onto the strap, if that works. Maybe interlacing the fingers. Maybe interlocking the finger grip. Grabbing the wrists, elbows, or any variation. This is called Namaskar. So we're going to be here for about 45 seconds. So take a moment to get comfortably uncomfortable with that bind, hand grip. Keep rolling the shoulders back, and clock starts now. And just breathe. Allow the head to float on the neck. And reorientate your spine by stacking ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Feel some broadness across the top of your shoulders. We just breathe, a few more breaths. So notice how your body feels, just with some attention, some therapeutic movements, a little massage, deep breathing, and hopefully coming from a place of peace and stillness. Last 3 breaths here. Breathe deeply. Know that you can come to these postures, stretches, movements at any time throughout the day if a body part is speaking to you, or even if you're feeling tension. Very relaxing. On your next exhalation, start to release whatever your bind is from behind. Let those arms rest wherever they fall. Give it a little shake. We'll take our final breath in. Keep breathing in, it's for you. Fill what is empty and then exhale, let go. Empty what is full. And thank you. Awesome, I'm gonna stop the recording, take you off mute for anyone that has questions. Super good, great work. Thank you so much for showing up today, showing up for your